Yeah, I read this book called The Warmth of Another Sun by Isabella Wilkins. This is a story about the journey of black Americans migrating from the southern state to the northern state and to the western states. And it's an epic story. When I read it, I cried. I cried. The book is just a book about me. It was talking about me, even though it wasn't me that was in the book, but the story was just the exact story that I have experienced, what I've saw my family experience. I'm from Jamaica, and the book talk about moving from southern state to northern and western states. And when people move from the southern state and go to the north or the west, they realize that racism was just as palpable as what they were running from. It was basically the same thing. It's just a little bit more subtle, but the results were the same. And I know that leaving from Jamaica and moving to the United States and moving to England or what other foreign country those relatives had moved from, they experienced similar experience as the book was talking about. It talks about some of these family moving from the south, going north, and they're female, young, beautiful, aspiring sisters. They end up in prostitution. They end up in drug addiction. They end up in extreme abusive situation. But when they save their little money and come back home, because you know when you move from the south, their families still remain. It's just like the brightest one of the family who said, "Let's go to New York and see if you can find a better life for us." And then that one family member would go, and then they would come back every visit, probably 2 times a year. And when they visit, they would bring their nice stuff and stuff. But you wouldn't know the struggle that they have to live wherever they had went to, whether it would have been California or New York or Boston, Chicago, the life that they experience, their experience in those new cities horrendous. But when they come back home, you wouldn't know, you wouldn't see, because they hide the pain. And that's what the story is about. It's about the family moving from south to north and west, and it's a powerful story. And I would encourage all my white brothers and my white sisters who kind of want to be able to understand our history a little bit more, pick that book up and read it. There's another book that I was introduced to you guys again. It's called From Superman to Man by J.A. Rogers. This is a classic. It's an awesome read. What this book talks about, it's about white privilege. It is almost like the premier literature and white privilege. It's not a thick book. It's about 100 page, 120 page. But it's a story that is rich in culture and just the heart of writing and the dialogue. It's an amazing illustration of white privilege. And it's an illustration of the struggle, the raw struggle that black folks living in the West, in the New World, have to endure and have to survive. And when reading these books and understanding the history of slavery and the history of colonialism and the history of white superiority and black inferiority complex, understanding it and understanding the damage that it inflicts, these different constructs inflict on our fellow citizens of the world, and living in a time, an enlightened time, I would say, computer and technology, from the speed of our information travel, the speed with which information travel, and the ability to process information coming at that speed. So today we can understand that a human being is a human being regardless of gender, sex, or race or ethnicity. He's a human being, and because we come now to understand and we accept that, because a situation that happened to somebody in Bangladesh, or I don't know, West Africa or Southeast Asia, in mere seconds, you living in London or California or New York, it's going to be right on your front page. You're going to see it right there on your phone in seconds. And people react because emotions are involved in it. Passion is involved in it. And people begin to react to it. So now we understand it's not about gender. It's not about race. It's not about sex. Yeah? It's about humanity. So we respect each other as we would want to be respected. And that's what decolonization, understanding history and empathy is all about. That's what it is. For us who says Black Lives Matter, what we are asking that Black life be respected as every other life. That if a black man is going down the street, he's no more or less to be searched by the police than a Chinese or a white man. That's not the case today. That when a black man go in a bank to get a loan with the same qualification as a white or a Chinese guy, his interest rate is the exact same. And that if you have the same qualification and you go and get a job, not because you're black, your salary is supposed to be less than the white guy or the Chinese guy or the Korean guy. So that's what Black Lives Matter is saying. When we say Black Lives Matter, that's exactly what we're saying. We're saying if a law enforcement officer shot a black or a brown or a white or an individual running away from him in his back 2, 3, 4, 5 times and he died, the officer should be charged. Because we are taught that if our accused is running away, yeah, we cannot claim self-defense if we are shooting him in the back. Civilian can't do that. Law enforcement should not be allowed to do that. You cannot put your knee in a man's neck and kill him and get away with it. Not because he's black. And that's what the Black Lives Matter is all about. And today, white folks, Chinese, people of all race, all ethnicity, all background, is joining to it. Because now they are seeing the humanity. They are understanding the humanity of each and every last one of us. So I just want to say those few words and just encourage you guys to go get From Superman to Man and go get The Warmth of Another Sun. From Superman to Man, J.A. Rogers, and from The Warmth of Another Sun, Isabella Wilkins. And read those 2 books and, you know, you get a good picture of what black folks have to go through and put up with in the colonial world, in the world based on white supremacy, systematic racism and institutionalized racism, and why it is very important to remove all relics and symbols of oppression and all these statues of Confederate generals and colonial slave masters and slave traders that are all over the cities, all across the world, all across the cities where black people going in building and have to walk past a trader who sell his foreparents as goods and property of white people. That is unacceptable in this day and time. So we ask that those statues be pulled down, and we join with Black Lives Matter, and we ask that you guys stay woke. 1HWG, 1 over the general. We love you guys. Subscribe, like, share, and press that notification button. Thank you guys very much for listening to me again. Blessed.